Hello, everybody. So welcome to my presentation. So I'm Jonathan. I'm the founder and CEO of FANtium. Before we start, one or two quick questions. So who of you is enthusiastic about sport? Maybe raise your hand. Okay, that's 70%. And who of you have already invested in sports? Either way, like NFTs, fan tokens. So that's less than 5%. So that's a perfect target group for me. So with FANtium, we are bringing the sports world on chain. Before I start, I will quickly start with a quick teaser. If it works. Okay, it doesn't work, doesn't matter. So tokenization is obviously changing the world of finance, right? So it's expected that over the next 5 years, that over 10% of the GDP will be tokenized. And in sports, you have over 250 billion of sports assets, which will also be affected by tokenization. And at the same time, you have over 5 billion of sports fans with access to smartphones who can also, with tokenization, then participate in that asset class they are passionate about. And what is tokenization? I think I don't need to go into detail here. So it just simplified, it means that you digitalize a real-world asset and bring it on-chain to make it both investable but also tradable. It has a lot of advantages compared to traditional finance, such as tradability, 24/7 liquidity, but also you can offer fractional ownership. That means you can split up a big asset into many different pieces. Why it will play such an important role in sports is because of, first of all, there's a big financial pressure in many sports on different levels. So if you take the athlete level, you can look at sports like tennis, golf, Formula One, racing, right? So these are sports which are very expensive to be done, especially early on. And then in many sports, there's like no money to be earned early on in a player's career, right? So sponsorship money is not enough yet, and that's why there's a financing gap even in sports like tennis. Carlos Alcaraz, a few years ago, he had a financial gap, so he was looking for funding because he couldn't cover the costs. And also football, if you take football clubs, obviously here we're in France, so Olympique Lyon, who just got relegated because of financial issues, you see that even like very successful football clubs are struggling financially. At the same time, there are a lot of illiquid assets available in sports, and this can include like stadium infrastructure, revenue, which are going to be generated through different means. And with tokenization, you can unlock these illiquid assets and unlock it for liquidity. And last but not least, you have these like 5 billion of sports fans, right, who can also turn into investors and invest in their passion and support your club or their favorite club or athletes they believe in. And with FANtium, we have built globally the first sports investment platform where you can invest in a tokenized way in sports. And on the sports side, athletes, clubs, teams, they can list tokenized assets on the platform to make them investable. And these tokenized assets, these are rights, right, which can represent anything from like future prize money earnings a player might be earning over to equity, tokenized equity, where you buy a token and that token represents the same economic rights like a shareholder in a club or in a team, over to like just traditional tokenized bond where you buy a token and that token represents a specific annual yield you can earn over some time. Everything is handled through smart contracts, so payment goes P2P, wallets are being set up, and also compliance and asset management is completely digitalized. And then as an investor, you can build a portfolio of different assets. You can invest on the athlete side in the success of future upcoming players in sports like tennis, golf, racing, etc., and participate in their future earnings coming from prize money earnings, coming from sponsoring earnings. And then on the club side, you can invest in the equity, you can invest in transfer revenues being generated, revenues coming from a youth academy, for example, but then also stadium infrastructure. So it's pretty diverse, and the idea is obviously that you can build up a portfolio across different assets and different types of products. From a technology point of view, we have tried to abstract any like complex crypto layer So our target users, we have around 6,000 verified investors on the platform. They are mostly just sports fans, right? So they have been not active in crypto before. So it's built on Polygon as a layer 2. We are using Privy for non-custodial wallet solutions, so you can just easily sign up with your email address. A wallet is being created, and then you can top up your wallet with USDC using MoonPay. And then you can invest in your favorite athlete, club, or team. From a regulatory point of view, and I will not go into detail because I don't want to bore you, but obviously this is an important area. So it's the security tokens where we are using different exemptions across Switzerland and Europe for like different offerings. So it's usually up to 8 million per year a player or a club can issue with like light prospectus requirements. And yeah, we help obviously here the athletes and clubs and teams to comply with all relevant regulatory points of view. The platform is live, so we launched it 2 years ago in tennis to build this like first showcase of tennis players. So in tennis, we are the go-to player financing platform where upcoming tennis players in the age of 14 to 23 years old go to when they need financing. So we have 30 tennis players live. We only launch a selective. We're pretty selective in who we launch, right? It's less than 10% of the players who approach us. We work together with all the relevant tennis agencies representing these tennis players. These tennis players have raised $1 million from different investors. So as I said, it's mostly sports fans, right, who have a passion for that sports, but then also high net worth individuals who are kind of building that as a different asset class. Over 200K now already has been also already distributed back by the first tennis players who already got successful to investors. This is just one example. So this is Tristan Boyer. He launched, I think, a year ago. So he raised, he was 23, he just finished college tennis, and then he needed like 1 year in kind of to improve his ranking to get into the prize monies, and he needed 100K, a little bit more. And in return, he was offering 6.5% of his prize monies. The payment structures or payback structures is always similar. So you as an investor, you participate for 6 years, and it starts in the year when the player gets into the top 150 ATP. So that's when the payback starts, and then on a yearly basis, the player is paying out investors based on the official prize money, which is displayed on ATP or WTA. The returns, every player is vetted by tennis experts, right? So we're working together with coaches, etc., who always give a subjective estimation on how the player, what potential the player has, something usually between top 50, top 100. And then if the player develops like the projection, then the goal is always as investor that you make around 30% IRR over 6 years. That leads like to a 4 to 5x MOIC on your capital. But you can also obviously 50, 60x your investment if the player really breaks through, or you can lose all your money if the player never becomes successful. As an investor, you get also non-monetary perks. So next to the prize money, you can request tickets, right? We had the first first investors being invited to Grand Slams, Roland Garros, Wimbledon last week, also Australian Open, digital coaching sessions, video calls with the player after if you invested a certain amount, but then also exclusive updates on a Telegram in holders-only channel. So what's next for us? We don't have much time anymore, so we're going to expand to football clubs and esports teams now. So we have the first clubs and teams signed and confirmed. Obviously for clubs, they don't have prize money or relevant prize money, so for them it's different types of offerings. So it's equity tokens where you buy an equity token and then you have the same economic rights like a shareholder, so you participate in dividends, you have exit proceeds. Revenue share tokens are another category, right, where you just pre-finance a certain revenue stream from, let's say, broadcasting revenue, transfer revenue, whatsoever, and then you can pre-finance that and then use that proceeds in order to invest in that category. And then also bond tokens, where you just tokenize a bond, right, and then you have a fixed interest rate over some sort of duration. Our goal is obviously to kind of, unite the sports world, right? So we believe like sports just serve such an important role in society, and there's a big risk in sports because of institutional money flowing in. Private equities, for example, buying into NBA teams, and there's a big risk that fans kind of disconnect because they don't feel that they don't have any thing to say anymore. And I think by offering them the option to also financially participate in these kind of deals and also partnering with institutional capital partners, we believe we can kind of improve the sports world by making fans more engaged and giving, on the other side, athletes, clubs, teams a new form of financing to stay and or become competitive. So yeah, so that's it about FANtium. So I hope I could convince a couple of new sports investors. So if you're passionate about RWA or sports, feel free to reach out, check out FANtium, and then hope to see you on the platform soon.
At the end, you were talking about fans feeling like they have nothing to say anymore, which actually reminded me of decision making. So was that topic ever raised as one of the perks that a fan could potentially access through tokenization of sports teams, for example?
Yeah, that's a super interesting topic. I think that's ultimately the end goal, right? So that not apart from financial participation, you also have these like governance benefits also included, and giving fans more options to vote or to decide on certain things. It comes with caveats, right? So it's obviously there's pros and cons, but ultimately our goal is to really engage fans, right, and bring them closer to the sports they love. And if it's through financial participation or then also voting governance in the later stage, that's cool and would be hopefully added then over time.
No, we don't have time. Please, if you have more questions, you can continue outside the room.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.